The Absolute Universe is one of Gotham's darkest reinventions yet, and it keeps growing in surprising ways. In this world, Bruce Wayne isn't a billionaire, he's a civil engineer, a man who believes real change comes from building things with your own hands, not throwing money at the problem. And his closest allies aren't your typical heroes, they're people who, in the mainline universe, are usually villains. Edward Nygma, Harvey Dent, Oswald Cobblepot, Waylon Jones, and Selina Kyle. Meanwhile, the real threats in this Gotham are the ultra-wealthy elites. Joker, a cold, humourless billionaire and his lackey Black Mask, have manipulated the city into chaos, paying citizens to riot so that the government could enforce martial law. Behind that facade of security, they kidnap citizens and experiment on them at the mysterious offshore facility called Ark-M. It's here that Waylon Jones was transformed into a monstrous crocodile, and where Batman himself was captured, experimented on, and fitted with a venom pump that enhanced strength, reflexes, and awareness to superhuman levels. Batman didn't stay a prisoner for long though, he escaped with Waylon's help, who now has an insatiable appetite and immense power. But Bane, the facility's enforcer, wasn't about to let them go quietly. He hunted down Batman's remaining friends, leaving a trail of violence in his wake, all to draw Batman out. The tension in this universe is constant, every ally could be a target, and every confrontation could be life-threatening. The last issue introduced a new and shocking element, Catwoman. She returns to Gotham in a high-tech, near-invisible suit, complete with a mechanized tail that can choke or incapacitate, and technology that I believe hints at connections to the Joker, or at the very least, the wealthy elites. For now though, she and Batman are reunited, spending time together in costume and preparing for the battles ahead. Their immediate concern is Bane, and for that they need allies and resources. Batman and Catwoman track down the Red Hood gang in Amusement Mile, hoping to enlist their help. A fight broke out, showcasing Batman's new abilities under the Venom Pump. Catwoman, however, warns him about the dangers of Venom, a subtle reminder that her loyalties may not be entirely clear. The Red Hood gang's leader is revealed to be Harley Quinn, continuing the trend in this universe, taking traditional villains and making them allies. Batman's strategy goes beyond brute force though. Earlier he livestreamed his confrontation with Black Mask, exposing the corruption of Gotham's elite. However, the media just shrugged and moved on, and that only reinforced his resolve. Now he speaks directly to the people, hacking into the TV broadcasts, telling them the truth about Ark-M and the kidnapped citizens, embracing his role as Gotham's unflinching, visible protector. The last issue ended with a tense setup for the next confrontation. Batman lured Waylon into the open using a mountain of meat, hinting at the showdown to come against Bane. From the offset, the cover of this issue promises an all-out brawl with Croc and Batman facing Bane head-on, and this story really doesn't hold any punches, pun intended. If you've been keeping up with the release schedules, then you'll know that this issue is 2 weeks late, because they decided to add 5 extra pages, at no extra cost I might add, to really give this battle the room to breathe. And the thing that really blows me away, aside from the gruesome violence, is the panel structure. Some of these pages have over 20 panels on them, which really keeps the pace under tight control. Small panels with extreme close-ups sit alongside larger panels with widescreen action shots. It's really cinematic. And speaking of cinematic influences, this battle is equal parts Akira-style body horror and the underdog brawling of a Rocky movie. Batman knows what Bane is capable of, and that he can't beat him in a one-on-one fist fight, so he prepares and plots. In the opening scene, Alfred tells the broader plan. He has 2 doses of venom on him. The first he will test now to see if Batman's system can handle it. If he can, then they will save the second dose for just the right moment during the showdown. The physical book has a 2-page spread showing Batman's abominable venomed up form, and it is ghastly. I'm reminded of the Nietzsche quote that he who fights monsters should take care lest he becomes a monster, or words to that effect, which is exactly what Bane is counting on. Now the first thing to note is how the authorities react to this showdown. Publicly, Mayor Hill says that the Batman is lying. There are no monsters, there will be no brawl at the arena, but everyone knows he's lying. He has been told by those on high, read the Joker, that the battle must take place and that the people should be kept far away. And it's funny that from the outset of this series, it has been established that everybody knows that Hamilton Hill is a bootlicking liar, but they chose to oust Mayor Gordon and vote Hill back in, which feels topical. Still, even with the police cordoning off the area, Batman gets his audience. The Red Hoods fly drones with cameras over the arena and broadcast the fight to the world, exposing Bane's existence. Not that he's too worried about that though. He plans to humble Batman quickly, drag him back to Arkham and force him to become his replacement. Batman has other plans though, and they are so gloriously over the top that I can't really put into words how much I enjoy them. In a move that he calls Welcome to Gotham, he detonates a bomb that causes a nearby presumably vacant skyscraper to fall on Bane, which prompts Bane to activate his venom pump. Now he's a towering mass of muscle, some 15 to 20 feet tall, but he will keep growing thanks to his recent augmentations taking his body to the absolute limits. Batman still resists engaging him one-on-one though. Instead he uses his massive Batmobile to try and ram into him, evoking the boss battle fight with Bane from the Arkham Asylum video game. In that case Bane was launched into the sea, but here he barely staggers. But that distraction is enough to give Batman the opportunity to strike by pulling out one of his eyes and hacking away at his venom delivery system. If this were a normal person, that would be enough to take them down for good, but for Bane, it's a mere annoyance. The venom allows him to recover from his wounds, including regrowing that missing eye, and he snatches Batman, telling him how alike the two are. It's at that point that Harley Quinn unleashes Killer Croc. By now, Bane is easily 50 feet tall and seemingly completely nude, which brings to mind the Harley Quinn animated series Valentine's Day special from a few years ago, where Bane accidentally cast a spell on himself that made him grow 100 feet tall and become filled with lust. Fortunately for us, the only lust Bane shows here is bloodlust. With Croc biting off chunks from Bane and Batman hacking away at his limbs with the Bat-Axe, you'd think he'd be on the ropes, but he regenerates just as quickly as they remove bits from him. It's so completely grotesque, watching bits get hacked off and seeing these bulging masses of warped flesh spring up in their place, increasing his overall mass. And while he looks pretty monstrous, his mind is completely intact. Even when Batman severs his spine, Bane still endures. As the venom boosts his mental performance too, he knows what Batman had planned, because it's what he would do. Bane tells Batman to make his move, use the venom so that he can finally finish this. But Batman surprises him. He doesn't use the venom on himself. He has Catwoman shoot Bane, now at his absolute limits, with venom-loaded darts causing him to essentially overdose and basically explode. Which is a delightful callback to how Batman defeated Bane in Batman the Animated Series, just a bit more explosive. This was Batman's real plan all along. He had never intended to use the venom. He'd actually had the delivery system removed by his friend Eddie. All that was left to do at the end of it all was cleanup, and Batman scooped up Bane's remains and dumped him into the ocean in sight of the Arkham facility. Now, to be clear, Bane is not dead. The final page shows Dr. Arkham talking to his remains in a tank as he slowly starts to regenerate. So Batman is not a killer, but he really did some hideous things to that monstrous man. Remember that Bane too felt that he had to do the Joker's bidding in order to secure his people's freedom and to liberate their island home. Everything he did was in the name of protecting the people he loves, much like Batman. It's just the difference is that, for all Bane's power and his towering intellect, he refused to think of a way to get himself out of his situation. He just gave in and did what he was told. He also believed that eventually Joker would release him and allow him to retire and be with his loved ones. However, Joker makes it very clear that he believes Bane is a marvel, a resource not to be wasted. He can't imagine a world where Bane would be truly happy just laying around on Santa Prisca. That would be a prison for one such as him. So Joker guarantees his freedom, keeping him in the war by nuking Santa Prisca, killing Bane's family. And all Bane can do is watch from behind the glass. What strikes me most about this issue, amid the shattering towers, the abominable flesh, and the thunder of two titans tearing Gotham apart, is how clearly it reveals what absolute Batman has been building towards since issue 1. Remember that this world was forged by Darkseid. It was sculpted from cynicism, cruelty, and the presumption that people are nothing more than raw materials, waiting to be broken down and used as tools. Arkham, Joker's empire, the elite's engineering riots from penthouses, it's all part of the same worldview. Humanity is disposable, hope is a liability, and power is the only currency. And yet, in the middle of all that engineered nihilism is Batman, just a normal guy who refuses to let Gotham become what Darkseid intended it to be. This battle with Bane is the series' thesis statement, because here at his lowest ebb, Batman makes the most defiant choice he can. He refuses to become the weapon his enemies need him to be. He outthinks the monster rather than outmuscling him. He dismantles the plan designed to corrupt him. He proves that even in a universe wired for despair, he will not surrender his agency. When faced with a similar decision, Bane bent the knee, thinking thinking that if you align yourself with the despots, then that will protect you and your loved ones. And while that may have worked for a while, ultimately he destroyed himself and lost everyone he ever cared about. This really shows that the darker the universe, the brighter Batman burns. Not because he's incorruptible, this Batman is scarred, compromised and tempted at every turn, but because he keeps choosing to claw his way back towards the light, even when it would be so much easier to just give in. And the sight of Batman dumping Bane's remains in the sea fills the people with hope. We see Bane's victims, Harvey Dent and Oz Cobblepot, in the hospital, cheering. Former Mayor Gordon stands in awe. Commissioner Bullock can't believe his eyes, and Catwoman slinks off into the night, taking a vial of venom with her, which nicely sets up her upcoming miniseries. So, where does all of this leave us? For me, the storyline shows why this take on Batman works. Sure, it can be shocking and gory with big monster fights, but what it's really about is watching a Batman who keeps getting pushed into situations designed to break him, but he charts his own path through them. He's in a world built by Darkseid, run by billionaires who treat people like raw materials and enforced by creatures that should have swallowed Gotham whole by now. Yet the thing that cuts through all of that isn't his strength or the gadgets or even the theatrics, it's that he consistently refuses to play the game the way his enemies expect. He finds another angle, he outthinks the trap instead of becoming part of it. And that's why the people in this Gotham, this bleak, cynical, stitched together nightmare, actually respond to him. They see someone proving that the world doesn't have to be what the powerful say it is. Even one small act of resistance hits different when the entire system is telling you there's no point in trying. By the time Bane's remains hit the water, the message is loud enough that even the wider city hears it. And that message is that he is still trying, and that trying matters. Absolute Batman number 14 is available now from all good comic shops. I would encourage you to research your local comic shop, and if you don't have one, I'm certain there are dozens of good stores nearby that would be happy to mail you your comics. If you're opposed to the idea of cluttering up your home with comic books, then you can get this comic digitally from places like Amazon, as well as Neon Ichiban, a new digital comic retailer from the founders of Comixology. Personally, I prefer physical comics, but I do love the convenience of having thousands of comics accessible from my phone, but you do what works best for you. I have no major updates on my physical comic collection this week, other than I bought another Batman Deadpool 1 cover, one by Brian Bolland, riffing on his famous Killing Joke cover. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. Thankfully, it is just one comic though. Next time, I'll be back shortly with a video looking at Absolute Wonder Woman 14, where Diana attempts to deal with her mystical doppelganger once and for all. And next week there's just one Absolute comic coming out because Absolute Superman 14 has been delayed by a few weeks. So I'll be talking about Absolute Green Lantern 9, which promises to introduce Hector Hammond's top assassin, Nemesis. Hope to see you then.